Well, I think Arizona has about a dozen different kinds of rattlesnakes, any one of which are capable of inflicting intense pain or even death. But it is possible to move safely through this terrain if you just take a few common sense steps. And let me just show you the things that I think about. Now, I'm no rattlesnake expert, but I am an expert on moving through here without getting bit. So let me show you what Linda and I do as we move around. We're just heading out to do a little exploring right now, so we'll take you along and show you our moves. So Linda, you gonna bust a move for us? Cool. Well, first and foremost, of course, is trying to stay in open areas, you know, where you can see. You want to make sure that your kids are close at hand and your dog is not out running around, unless your dog's had rattlesnake training, which is a thing. You can have your dog trained to avoid rattlesnakes. Otherwise, when a dog sees a rattlesnake, it thinks it found a fantastic toy. And that's the problem. We had a dog, it was a border collie that happened to in Montana. And you know how they say the rattlesnakes don't come out until it gets to be hot? Well, this was a 40-degree Fahrenheit day in Montana, and our dog found a rattlesnake alongside the trail we were on, and that rattlesnake was striking at our dog. Not really fast, wasn't fast strikes, lucky for our dog, but it was striking. Luckily, our dog didn't get bit. It was fast enough. It was kind of a halfway between a puppy and a full-grown dog. She was still pretty young, and she was pretty agile. Lucky for her. Now, when you start getting in areas of tall grass like this, you got to be a little more extra careful. This grass isn't too tall, but as you move through here, you got to be looking ahead and left and right. Keep your eyes out in front of you. You got bushes coming up. You got to be a little more careful. Now, if you're just moving around camp like we are, you can just do it by being slow and careful. Be deliberate in your moves. It's important to keep your eyes on the ground in front of you and slightly off to either side. If you do decide to take in the scenery, stop walking. Don't move if you're not watching where you're going. Now, walking like this is fine if you're just around camp, but what if you want to cover some distance in a hurry? Or you got a destination, not just out exploring around your campground like we're doing right now. Then what? If you've got a destination and you need to move right along, you're better off having a stick with you, just to tap the bushes out ahead of you. That'll help you move on through a little more confidently. Don't depend on a rattlesnake to rattle. That's what you're hoping for. But to rattle a warning, don't depend on that. Try to scare them up, scare them out. Up in Montana, we have prairie rattlers, and they're known for not rattling. I have a good friend that was walking through some tall grass. He was setting some targets. He was target practicing, and he stopped and was looking around, and then he looked down at his feet, and he had one coiled up at his feet. You just don't know. Just be careful. But you can move faster with a stick anyway. Another thing you want to do is never step over a log or over a rock. Always step on top of it first. Tap on the other side and then step over. You never know when one's going to be hiding there in the shadow, you know, in the shade. Just kind of tap in front like that. Then you're good to go. So going through the thick brush, move slow. Us old people have the advantage there. We've already learned how to move slow. So which came first? The can or the can opener? It was the can. This one was opened up with a knife blade or a hatchet. Probably a can of peaches. Yeah, Linda.
Yep.
If you're walking single file, maybe 2 or 3 of you in a row, when people get bit walking like that, it's usually the second person in line, because the first person, the rattlesnake coils, and then the person right behind is the one that gets struck. So just keep that in mind if you're walking single file behind somebody else, especially if you're moving fast. Better to move a little slower. And don't forget, when it gets hot, rattlesnakes are more active, but that doesn't mean that they're not active when it's cold, like I told you. Well, that's just the way that Linda and I move out here. You can also wear snake chaps, snake boots, but they're really hot, and in the desert they get really uncomfortable fast. But if you move slow, you should be okay.
We got that down.
Got the moving slow part down.